welcome back to the reading of A Good Kind of Trouble by Lisa Moore Ramey. Please get out your books and follow along. We're going to be reading chapters 44, 45, 46, 47, and 48. Chapter 44 is called The Breaks. And in this chapter, Shayla's finally going to confront Tyler, and she's going to be honest. In these next chapters, you're going to see communication becoming clearer between the different characters so that all of this tension can start to go away. So here we go. The breaks. The next day, when I go outside for break, I'm looking for Isabella. But instead, I see Tyler, and I'm alone with him. I hate not having my cell phone. Isabella would have texted me to tell me she'd be out sick, and I could have been prepared, or I would have texted Julia and begged her to hang out with me, even though we're both still angry. That would have been easy with a text. I don't think I could have said it out loud. This is why cell phones are so important. I've never been in a fight with one of my best friends before. I'm not even sure we're in a fight. Tyler is smiling and stuttering at me and asking me if I know about some video game. I don't. It is the perfect time to tell him he got it all wrong about us. But I can't figure out how I'm going to say it that won't sound awful, especially since I'm mad at him. I know I should have not let this whole thing go on, but he should not have kissed me like that. Everybody knows you don't put your chapped lips all over somebody without permission. At least they should know. Tyler starts talking about the trial and how messed up it will be if the jury gets it wrong. And even though I agree with him, I don't tell him that. I tap my foot impatiently. Instead of saying anything I want to, I do a bunch of nodding, and then the bell rings, so I'm saved from having to say anything. But lunch is just a couple of hours away. I don't even have that long. Tyler ambushes me between third and fourth period. He pulls me over to a corner in the hallway, and I'm caught. Hey, Tyler, can we talk later? I've got to get to class. Yeah, okay, but I need to ask you something first. He takes a deep breath and then he blurts it out. Are you my girl? Tyler, I clear my throat. I think you have the wrong idea about us. He's quiet for a minute. I watch a small muscle in his cheek bunch up, and then he just stares at me. I sigh loud enough for him to hear. Tyler, why do you even like me? He smiles real quick, shy smile, and then he looks down at his shoes, 'cause, you're cute and all. Thanks, I say. I feel worse. I wasn't trying to get a compliment out of him. My cheeks feel like they're steaming. They're so hot. I swallow. But you can't like somebody just because of the way they look. Maybe you should know. Like somebody who's nice to you and actually likes you back. Hearing myself say that out loud stings. All I've cared about with Jace is how he looks. He's never acted as if he likes me. And I haven't paid a bit of attention to that. Tyler smiles at me. Then he stops smiling. I think what I just said hit him. His eyebrows get close together and he leans forward. I take a small step back. I'm never going to let someone kiss me again unless I want them to. Okay, it's all good, he pauses. And I'm just about to try to walk away, but he keeps going. It's just like at the dance. That was a command, and I didn't even kiss you back. Seemed like it to me. Well, I didn't. And you should know it's not cool to just kiss somebody. You can't be all up on somebody who didn't say it was okay, not even if it was a command. I don't think I knew how much it bothered me until I heard myself telling him off. I don't care anymore who hears us. That kiss was awful. And even if I had been playing Command 2, Tyler shouldn't have done it. I can tell he knows I'm right by the guilty look on his face. You need permission. And I never said yes. I'm sorry, he says, his shoulders slump. Coach West told me the same thing. Good, I say. Then I add, don't do it again. And Tyler nods. I think we're done. But Tyler dips his head down a little, clears his throat, and then he looks back up staring at me right in the eyes. So why you been letting me hang around and all? He asks so quietly I almost can't hear him. I've got no answer. I can't meet his eyes and stare at him at his chin. I twist the end of my pony around and around, then I don't say anything. He just nods like he understands. I guess. I'll see you around then, he says. And he turns away, dipping into the crowd, filing by on their way to class. I see Natalie, and she frowns at me. I figure word is going to get around that Tyler and I broke up. Maybe if Julia hears about it, she'll sit with me at lunch. So, in this chapter called The Breaks, it's literally a breakup for a non-relationship. It's kind of silly. She finally has to tell Tyler, I clear my throat. I think you have the wrong idea about us. And one of the good things that comes out of this chapter is that Shayla sort of stands up for herself and really lets Tyler have it about just planting a kiss on her at the dance. He really had absolutely no right to do that. And if you want to kiss somebody, you should be making really sure that they want to kiss you back. Otherwise, that's called like an assault. You shouldn't do that. All right, chapter 45. This chapter is called Not So Good. She doesn't. If Julia knows Isabella is out sick today, she knows that means I don't have anybody to sit with, but she doesn't come look for me. She isn't at our table. I don't even see her at lunch. I feel totally lost. The great thing about a three-way friendship is if someone is absent, you still have a friend to sit with at lunch. I can't sit at a table all by myself. I consider wandering over to the basketball courts, but that would have been a bad plan. Tyler would be over there. Besides, it's probably not the best reason to go over to the courts now just because my other friends aren't around. I could go to the library. Some people sit there for lunch, but it's sort of where you sit if you don't have any friends. I end up sitting on the bench by the office. I made the mistake of putting tomatoes on my sandwich, and they made the bread all soggy. Even my sandwich is sad. And then a shadow blocks out the sun. What are you doing over here all by yourself? I look up at Jace. My mouth opens, but no words come out. You all right? I shut my mouth and swallow the soggy lump of sandwich. Then I nod at him. Jace smiles at me. Jace smiles at me. Jace smiles at me. So what's going on? He asks. He has one of those spiny things, those spinny things, and spins it and lets it go around and around on the top of his fingers. Nothing much, I say, trying to sound like I'm talking to me is at the very bottom of things I care about. Pretty chill, you know, very low key. I should totally shut up. So where's your friend? Jace asked. I'm so wrapped up in the moment of him actually talking to me that at first I think he's talking about Julia because I had wondered the same thing. And then my brain goes, well, that's silly. He doesn't even know Julia. So I think, oh, he must mean Tyler. But then it registers. Hard. Oh, she's sick, I say flatly, feeling a little sick myself. Oh yeah, he says. Then he surprises me by sitting down right next to me, which makes me feel like I'm going to swallow my tongue or something. I tell myself, okay, breathe, yeah, he asked about Isabella, but he's sitting right here next to you. He's sitting close enough for our arms to touch. And then he asks, is she talking to anybody? Who? I ask, not quite able to keep myself from staring at him. Who we talking about, girl? Jace asked, like I'm stupid. Oh, I mean Isabella? I laugh. Ha ha, this is so very, very funny. She's not, she's sort of, I sound completely stupid. I want to tell him about Isabella's mom not allowing her to have a boyfriend or something, but my mouth won't let me say it. She isn't talking to anybody right now, I admit. Jace smiles big, and then he leans up against the wall. I know that smile. I've seen it on Hannah's face 1,000,000 times. It's that smile that says I can have whatever I want because I'm all that, and I know it's true. I think he'll leave then, but he just keeps sitting with me. I actually wish he would leave. He's making my palms itch and my stomach hurt. He starts talking about hating history and how he has a bad grade and how it's all Mr. Powell's fault. Do you do your homework? I ask. Jace scowls at me. I do enough. He's just a punk, and he wears those dumb scarves like what my mama would wear. What? I say. Mr. Powell's the best. I move over so that our arms can't touch anymore. Jace gives me a what's with you look, but I don't care. I think about him talking about my forehead, and then the time he was mean to Alex. I try to think of one time that I saw him being nice, but I can't think of any. I sat next to Jace today. It wasn't so great. So, this is a super turning point for her. She has realized that Jace is not worth her time. He comes up to her to talk to her at lunch. She doesn't have anybody. She's all excited. And then the question he really wants to know the answer to is, so, where's your friend? Jace asks. And Isabella, it dawns on her that it's Isabella that Jace wants to be around. Absolutely not her. So the next chapter is called Dogpile, chapter 46. I've never heard this term. I don't know that this is actually a common term, but I guess from reading the story it means when like a whole bunch of people jump on one person to beat them up, they call that a dogpile. I myself have never heard that before, but here we go. I'm on my way to 5th period when I realize that the girls behind me who are talking really loud are actually talking about me. Makes me sick the way she thinks she's all that. I guess she's just too good for your cousin. Somebody needs to teach her a lesson. The school handbook has a whole section on harassment and how we aren't supposed to do it, but I'm almost positive I'm being harassed. I've heard about dogpiling, where a bunch of people jump on you. It sounds horrible. Am I going to get dogpiled? My stomach knots up with fear, and I run into the girls' bathroom. This is pretty stupid decision because they just follow in right behind me. I whirl around to ask what they're messing with me for, but then I see Angie and my mouth just drops open like I'm at the doctor's office and he wants me to say, ah. I'm not surprised that I see Natalie. With them, it is a big girl who I found out recently is Stephanie, Tyler's cousin. Yo, you think you're too good for Ty? Stephanie has small, mean eyes. She snaps her fingers at me. No, I don't, I say, trying to take a small step back. Why don't you leave me alone? Leave me alone, Natalie says in a whiny, fakey voice, as if that's how I sounded. I for sure don't want to get dogpiled or just generally messed with. I look at the door, but I would have to get through them to get to it. I try to remember everything Hannah has told me about fighting. She's really good at it. You know what? I think it's time this Oreo found out she's not as cute as she thinks she is, Natalie says. Oreo? Seriously? I'm not white on the inside, black on the outside. What's your issue? I ask. Stephanie is starting to get closer to me, like she wants to grab me or something. You broke my cousin's heart, she says. Dramatic much? I didn't, I say. I like Tyler. Obviously, I don't mean like, but I don't want Stephanie thinking I was mean to him, because I wasn't. Was I? Yeah, right, Natalie says. Why'd you break up with him then? We weren't even talking or, boyfriend and girlfriend. He kissed me because of that stupid command game. And he knows that wasn't cool. If he wanted to kiss me, he needed to ask. I don't know why you all thought we were together." "Who's you all?" Angie asks, making little quotation marks in the air. I didn't know Angie could sound so mean. "Are you talking about African Americans?" She stretches the words really long, like I have a hard time understanding English or something. "Well, I hate to tell you this, but you all is you too." "I know that." I can't believe that Angie is going there. "You all as in everybody." "No one can figure you out," Stephanie says. "You try to act all down and then you dog my cousin." "I'm sorry if I hurt Tyler's feelings," I say, "but it's not my fault I didn't like him like that." "You don't like him because he's black," Natalie says, like I walked into some kind of a trap. "Oh yeah? Then why do I like Jace?" Angie and Natalie's eyes both go wide. It's like a flash popped in their faces. All right, so she's been pretty much backed into a corner in the bathroom. She's really afraid she's going to have to get into a fight. And she's afraid she's going to get what they call dogpiled. Am I going to get dogpiled? And she has to explain to all the girls on the track team that she's not an Oreo. She's not white on the inside, black on the outside. They don't think that she likes black people. They're saying, "Oh, you don't like Tyler because he's black." And she bursts out "Oh yeah, well then why do I like Jace?" And all the girls' eyes get big. So there's all kinds of misunderstandings and them making assumptions about her just because she has friends from a different race. And I think we can all agree that's really not fair. So the next chapter is 47. It's called "Wanna Go." And now, when people are about ready to get into a fight with each other, they say, "Wanna go?" And that's an aggressive way to say "Let's go. Let's have a fight." So here we go. "Jace?" Angie asks, which is how I know I actually said I like Jace right out loud. "You like that pretty boy?" I want to say that I actually don't think I like Jace at all that much anymore, but this doesn't seem like the right time. "Okay," Angie says, "if you're so down, how come you don't hang out with anybody?" Translation, anybody equals black kids. "I just hang out with my friends from elementary school. We've been friends for a long time." "Yeah, I heard you didn't have any black friends in elementary school either," Stephanie says. "There weren't that many of us in the same grade," I mutter, which is totally true. There was me, Burkita, Tonja, Alonzo, and Bernard. "Yeah, and you were too good for them, huh?" Stephanie asked. "Had Burkita or Tonja said that about me? Is that what this is? What they thought? I was not." "Then why don't you sit with us at lunch?" Natalie asked. "Because I sit with my friends," I say. "It sure seems like I'm repeating myself. Why is it so hard for people to understand that I'm not doing anything wrong by hanging out with my best friends?" "I bet you don't have one single black friend," Stephanie says. "I start to say I'm friends with Yolanda, but I'm not sure if I can truly claim her. I'm not sure what she'd say if they asked her. She's been acting weird ever since the Tyler thing. It seems like Angie and I were sort of friends, but obviously that's not true." "Thinking you're all that with your big old forehead," Stephanie says. "What's wrong? That is the wrong thing to say to me." I tighten up my fists. "Fine," I say. "You want to go? Come on then." Wow. She says, "Yeah, I heard you didn't have any black friends in elementary school either." So this is the big problem. I think these girls are more mad at her about the fact that she doesn't seem to have any black friends than over the fact that she broke up with Stephanie's cousin Tyler. There's more things than just that one thing going on here. So now we're into the chapter called Fight. Chapter 48. "I will fight all three of them. All together or at one time. I sort of wish I had some earrings to take off. Hannah told me that's what you do when you know a girl is ready to fight." Then Angie does one thing that I sure don't expect. She starts giggling. Stephanie takes a step away from Angie. What's wrong with you? That makes Angie giggle and turn into full-on laughter. What's so funny? Natalie asks. Yeah, what? I ask. I do not see one funny thing in the whole situation. Angie takes a deep breath and tries to stop laughing. Well, she did say us, didn't she? When she was talking about black kids at her school. I don't relax my fists. I'm still ready to fight if I have to. I do believe she's ready to throw down, Steph. For some reason, Angie finds this to be hilarious. Now that's a black girl for you, she says, laughing so hard. I think she might hyperventilate. I know it's not true that all black girls want to fight, but Angie thinking I was ready to, and me imagining myself taking on 3 girls at once makes my hands relax, and it gets me to laughing too. And the next thing I know, Natalie is almost smiling. Stephanie is not. Come on, y'all, let's get to class. We're already late, Angie says. As we leave the bathroom, we run right into Coach West. Don't you girls need to be in class? She asks, looking at all of us suspiciously. I think she looks at me especially hard. Yes, Coach. We yell and we rush off. In shop, I try and joke around with Yolanda, but she's in a bad mood or something and stays bent over her project. I ignore the looks Tyler keeps sending my way. I want to tell him I'm sorry, but I'm not sure what I would be apologizing for. Should I be sorry for not liking him? And if that's true, shouldn't there be a bunch of guys, starting with Jace, apologizing to me? Besides, Tyler was the one who was wrong for kissing me in the first place. When the bell rings, I don't rush outside. Coach West called an extra practice saying we've gotten soft over winter break, and I'm dreading it. I might have been ready to fight a little bit ago, but I'm sure not anymore, and I hope none of the other girls want to. All right, so during the fight, in this chapter, it's pretty interesting. One of the girls says, I do believe she's ready to throw down. And throw down means, to get into a big fight. And all the girls find that to be hysterical because it's like 3 girls against 1. And I'm actually really kind of surprised by Shayla. And normally she doesn't want to get into any kind of trouble. Well, I'll tell you what, getting into a huge fist fight in the girls' bathroom at school would be really not a good kind of trouble. It would be actually the opposite of that. But she's sticking up for herself and she's trying to explain to them that just because she hangs out with kids that aren't black, that doesn't mean that she's not black inside and out and that she doesn't want to not have black friends. All right. Very good. See you in school.